Mr. Revolver Guy here with DayAtTheRange.com. I'm back on the range again today with the Lipsey's exclusive Ruger Blackhawk 10mm. And as you can see, I have it mated to the Master Series Ransom Rest. This Ransom Rest has seen a lot of use. It's been around since the 1980s, but we're going to see what the Ruger Blackhawk is capable of from an accuracy perspective with this Ransom Rest. I've got it tightened down. We're going to use 200 grain loads, about 6 shots to settle it in these grips. That's kind of the recommendation from Ransom Rest. Just really excited to be back out with the 10mm today. You guys know from the previous video that we utilized 200 grain, 175 grain, and 135 grain 10mm loads to test for pure function. And as all of us would have expected, it performed flawlessly. Enough with the chit chat. Let's see what kind of accuracy this baby has. So I've put 6 rounds down range to make sure the grips were nice and tight, and also to make sure that the Ruger Blackhawk is properly seated within the Ransom Rest. Now we are going to test for accuracy, what we came out here for. Let's get to it. On paper, that's good. That's about the same hole. All right, not too bad. Looks like one flyer. That's it. So looks like about a 2-inch group out of my own hand loads, 200 grain lead, 10mm. Winchester large pistol primer loaded on top of 8 grains of long shot. So seems it maybe didn't like the load too much, but we're going to proceed with the 175 grain load testing as well as the 135 grain load testing. We're going to lower the Ransom Rest down, not going to move it at all, just lower it a little bit in the front to get a different point of aim, different point of impact, and go from there. Now we're going to load up the Ruger Blackhawk with 6 rounds of 175 grain semi-wide cutter. These were loaded for my 10mm 1911, but we're going to use them in the Ruger Blackhawk and see how what potential accuracy we get out of it. As you can see, the wind's blowing pretty hard, blowing my load paper away. But let's get it loaded. I tell you what, there's something about a single action revolver with all the semi-autos and the plastic wear of today, and I don't say that to be derogatory, but they just don't get the love that they used to. But I tell you, there's something that just tickles you down deep about single loading, single ejection of the single action revolver. But let's do what we came here for. Again, 175 grain. Let's see what potential accuracy we can wring out of her. All right, on paper, on target. Grips are tight. Whoa, doesn't like that at all. That was really high. It's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Same hole. All right, now she's grouping in there. Oh yeah, same exact hole. And I'm out. So let's eject the rounds, open up the side gate. Pretty simple. Gives you a new appreciation for those guys that won the West. Nice. Really nice. Give me a second to go down range, take a look at these groups. We'll come back and load up the 135 grains and see what kind of accuracy we can get out of the Lipsey's exclusive Ruger Blackhawk and 10mm. Back with the 135 grain loads. Those 135 grain Noslers loaded on top of CFE pistol with Winchester primers. Let's get the Blackhawk loaded, do some testing. If I don't run out of daylight, I might be able to get some chronograph testing done that a few people have asked for, which I think will be pretty neat. But we'll see here. So far, the 200 grain load is probably the worst load at this point. Still decent accuracy, but I'm really interested to see how this jacketed round does. Let's get started. 135 grain Nosler loaded on top of CFE pistol with Winchester primer. On paper. Try not to disturb the pistol in the rest too much, but you got to cock. It's single action, so you got to cock the hammer. Not bad. My camera battery is going low, it looks like. Same hole. Same hole. It definitely likes the 135 grain loads a lot better. This pistol just prefers the jacketed 135 grain load. Let me swap out the batteries in the camera and we'll go down range and get a picture of the target. All right, I got a new battery in the camera. We're going to walk down range 25 yards and take a look at the groups. From what I can see, it definitely likes the 135 grain groups. 135 grain rounds, shall I say. Sorry for the bounciness of the camera. Yeah, you know, I thought maybe the 200 grain round load that it didn't like. I have one flyer. This 175 grain is probably the third best group. But let's spin the camera around and take a look at it. This is the 200 grain load. Not bad, 6 shots from the Ransom Rest. This is the 175 grain semi-wad cutter. And this is the 135 grain load. Not bad at all. When you're trying to wring the most accuracy out of your pistol, you can't beat the Master Series Ransom Rest. I absolutely love it. I think it's time for me to send it back though. You guys have seen it beat up. It's time for me to send it back and get it refurbed. But Ruger Blackhawk, man, the accuracy is fantastic. Fantastic accuracy. Mr. Revolver Guy with DayAtTheRange.com.